Hello, today we are looking at chapter 6, lesson 2. All right. It's called Get Along with Your Family. Since every teenager loves this, get along with their family. We've all been there. We've all done this. It's nothing new, but it is just how we have to do things, okay? So how do we do this in a way that makes all parties happy is always the trick. All right. First of all, let's talk about just the simple importance of family. All right. Family is important. All right. Family, by definition, is a base unit of society. We all belong to a family in some way, shape, or form. Even animals in the animal kingdom have families, and they work in the same concept in certain ways, in certain shapes or forms as well. All right. Family oftentimes is referred to your immediate family. Brothers, siblings, sisters, parents, whatever it may be. Then you have what we call your extended family. Your extended family is your immediate family plus other relatives, which means it could be your grandparents, aunts, uncles, nieces, cousins, nephews, things of that nature. Family responsibilities often do include provide health and safety. Your parents provide health and safety to you on a day-in, day-out basis. They provide usually a roof over your head of some type. They provide food to nurture you, to nurture your body. They provide usually some shape of love and care to provide the day. They did a kind of a more known as a despicable experiment, but the Nazis did an experiment during World War II having to do with so many thousand babies, and they are given food, water, and everything else food, milk, whatever else they needed, and without the love and affection from the people that were taking care of them, they simply died. And I know that sounds very despicable, and it is, but it does show that a person does need love in their life to survive, and family's responsibility is to provide that. You also have values. You learn your values from your family. Values can be good or bad, but we all learn them from our family members. For example, an example of my family would be is that, my dad had a bad temper. Well, guess what? Me and my 3 brothers all have bad tempers at times. Is a value you learn whether you admit it or not, and like I said, not all values gained are good or bad. Family is also for emotional support. Life is going to take you highs and lows. We all know this part in this school. Family is a good way to help you get through those moments that seem more, shall we say, unbearable and not likable. So family is responsible for those main 3 things there. Now, what are the functions of the family? The function of the family is to meet the needs of the health triangle. Obviously, you're going to get a physical, a mental, emotional, and a social aspect from your family. And those needs will be met with them. And ways we do this are, we strengthen the family unit. All right? By strengthening the family unit, you improve your health triangle. Obviously, your mental, emotional side goes up. You feel physically stronger, and socially, you're more usually outgoing. It also encourages positive practices. A strong family, especially with a strong health triangle, you're gonna learn what the good choices are and what the risky choices are, and hopefully you take the safer choice than the risky choice. Families also keep and build traditions, all right? And I think back to when I was a little kid, my grandma started a tradition that all the kids under the age of 13 had to sing a Christmas song or some song that they wanted to sing before we could open our gifts for Christmas. Okay, that's an example of a tradition that has been around for a number of years. Now, those are the main functions of the family and kind of what the roles of families are. Now, as we all know, changes occur in families. And some of those changes can include changes in structure and circumstances. Within that, it can lead to stress. And some of those family changes can be pretty simple Could be that you're seeing more single-parent homes. Okay, I did a little bit of research on this just to see where it is nowadays. The book says that divorce rates are still going up. The book's a little bit old. It's actually shown the last couple of years divorce rates are going down. All right, so that's a good sign as far as I'm concerned. But there still is a number of people that only know one parent in their household. There are more divorces, like we talked about, which is obviously a change in the structure of the family. These seem to pose the most challenges, okay? And I do say this nicely because some of you maybe know more about it than I do. These challenges can include that you have parents that maybe disagree over how each parent is parenting each other. Can be nicely said. I've seen young people manipulate their parents against each other so that they get what they want in the end. These things all together create a number of challenges for teenagers as yourself to get through their family situations. With the flip side of that is if you're seeing more single-parent homes and more divorces, you're also going to see more what we call blended families. A blended family is nothing more than a family that consists of a parent, step-parent, and children of one or both parents. Okay, some of you probably come from blended families. And we also hear again that that's a stressful situation. All of a sudden you go from being maybe you and your sibling to now having two other siblings, so now they're a family of 4 kids. That's extremely stressful. That puts a lot of stress on both the mental, emotional, time, space, even probably finances. And then you get into what we call a step-parent, or someone who marries a child's mother or father. Okay, what's interesting about this is that now, what do you regard that parent as? Because you already have a mother and father. So what's a step-parent to you then? And do you have to show them the same respect you show everyone else? And these are typical questions that I've seen a number of kids have to answer in their own minds, but also I've seen a number of even growing up different cousins that had some, parents that remarried and stuff like that. You saw that they really struggled with how they are supposed to relate to their step-parent. Within those changes in family circumstance, some of those changes can include moving, if you have to move from one city to another. It means a whole new social dynamic for you. You're going to have, obviously, a new home to live in, new friends to meet, a new school to learn. And that in its own right creates a lot of stress in people's lives. Also, you're going to run into change of circumstances that even involve financial problems, okay? When I was teaching in another school, about 10, 12 years ago now, we had a young lady who we knew her parent had just been laid off. And normally a very happy kid, one of the more, made everyone's day just a lot better. It was a fun kid. Well, all of a sudden, once dad gets laid off, and within a month or two, you could see that the financial hardship they were going through was starting to wear on this young lady. And nicely said, it created a different family dynamic, and it created a lot of stress for this young lady. And it's hard. It's hard when especially when this case was 12 years old, she can't do anything to help this. She's kind of stuck with it and helping her parents deal with it. When there's illness or disability in the family, obviously, the number one thing I think of when I see this is if a parent's going through a cancer treatment, so on and so forth. This can cause a lot of stress, a lot of anguish in a family relationship. I know certain situation where it's caused the children to form some illnesses as well. Unemployment kind of comes back to the financial problems. Once again, creates a tough situation for kids to deal with, especially when you're used to getting some things that you normally would, and all of a sudden the parents say, no, we can't afford that anymore. Like I said, it creates a tough situation. All right, these last two. When you have substance abuse and physical abuse, they kind of go hand in hand. I've heard the stories of my grandfather. He was an alcoholic, he probably was a little physically abusive, but he definitely abused alcohol. and created a situation that was often stressful and created a lot of tension in my family. I never saw it. He had quit drinking by the time I was born, but I've heard the stories about what happened between him and my dad. And in respect, I mean, I probably caught some of what my dad was to us as kids because of that strong alcoholism and what it led to as far as how my grandpa treated my dad, and my dad kind of in turn treated us kids. And to him, that was just normal. And these last two cases in particular, but maybe some of these other ones as well, there's probably professional help is going to be needed of some type. Physical and substance abuse, there's going to be, because you're going to have to learn how to deal with what happened, all right? And these changes in family circumstances aren't easy to deal with, and it's hard to go talk to someone who is in the same situation. You go talk to your parents about, why they don't like it. Professional help is, like I said, a good method to deal with these. Okay, so now how do we cope with some of these different changes that can occur in our family? All right, here are some effective methods. First of all, you got to show respect to the situation. If you have to move from one city to another, I'm pretty sure your parents, that wasn't their first choice of things they wanted to do, but maybe it was a job opportunity. Maybe it was due to the fact that mom or dad got laid off and they had to get a job and they found it in another city, so you had to move. You got to remember, they're doing what's probably best for you, and they're not doing it just to be mean or selfish. It's probably just a better opportunity that they had to take. You need to share your thoughts, okay? Now, when I say share your thoughts, doesn't mean you can just say them exactly how you feel, so on and so forth. You need to show a lot of, it comes back to that first part, showing respect. Mom, Dad, I don't like the fact that we're moving. I don't like the fact I'm giving up my friends. And if you do it in a well thought out matter, usually they'll be respectful of it. The only thing I would say to you is you're probably not going to change a whole lot because you are only a teenager, and they hopefully would know what's best for this family situation. You need to show support. Think about it. Your parents, if they choose to move in that situation, they're also giving up their family and friends that they've made in the area, and this isn't going to be easy for them either. Encourage them, support them. If they need help packing, make sure you help them pack. Don't just sit there on your duff just being angry and mad at them. It does no good. In this, you need to be able to accept responsibility. Do what's expected of you at these times when things are difficult. Don't expect your parents to have to remind you of everything you need to do. If there's a situation where maybe the unemployment, financial hardship comes in, don't make your parents have to remind you to do stuff. Get up and do it on your own. If nothing else, go do a little bit more on your own to help them out with their stressful time. Last thing is show care and concern. All right, and this kind of comes back to what I just said. This is your opportunity to maybe show your parents you're a little bit more mature and a little more understanding. This is where, like I said, especially if you're helping take care of someone that maybe has a disability or an illness of some type, that you just pick up the pace for everyone else that's having to help that person out. So if your dishes aren't your duty, maybe one night a week you just go ahead and do the dishes for your family, even though it's not your responsibility. Vacuuming, the simple things you can do, keeping your room clean, all those things, shows a lot of care and concern for your parents who may be dealing with a tough situation. All right, that's the second lesson in chapter 2. Make sure you read these lessons, all right? Yes, I kind of do take a lot of the information out of there, but there's some stuff in there that maybe helps correlate it together better for you. All right, thank you. Have a good day.